everybody, and welcome! A little while ago, the official KSP Twitter channel set a challenge. How quickly can you land on Minmus without crashing? Well, I asked whether from the launch pad or from orbit, and things kind of escalated from there, and so I thought, well, let's just do it. Here we're going to see me building a rocket. This is sped up significantly, of course, because the entire thing of what you're going to see here in this video took about half an hour. So I went into this without any plan, without any... Well, the only thing I looked at was a delta V map for Minmus to check what the landing delta V might be, but that's just 180 meters per second. Well, the idea was to make a vehicle that would go there really fast and then accelerate downwards, like trying to ram the ground, and have a counter thruster on the other end to counteract that velocity later on. So, as I said, no real plan. I was just hitting a bunch of parts together, and that's why I also forgot the fairing, as you can see here. And then I had to do that again because, yeah, well, we need a fairing if we want to get out of the atmosphere with this thing. And let's go! Well, that's not good.
Again!
Yep, check your staging! That was a bit of a surprise. I also forgot the pilots in the lander can, so that was not good either, and I forgot to set some action groups to switch between the lander can and the probe core, and I forgot something else. Yeah, since we're traveling to Minmus, we're going a few days in space, and a few days in space would mean losing all electricity, so I added some batteries and solar panels. So can we finally get off this launch pad? Yes, yes, okay. Here we go. Okay, compared to my usual KSP footage, this is just sped up and not cut in between to jump to the more exciting parts. I just wanted to show you there is no cheats involved or anything. I really just built the rocket and tried to fly it to Minmus and all the failures in between. So this is not a, hey, look at me, how good I am. This is just me, okay, I tried this thing and this is what I ended up with. And if you can do it better, please do so. Because I'm not really a speedrunner. I don't like doing speedruns because I think it kind of detracts from the enjoyment of a game, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just me. And here we have me trying to get an encounter with Minmus and wrestling with the encounter indicators and the maneuver planner and whatever. And yeah, I sped this up, I think like 8 times speed or even faster, so you don't have to suffer through what I had to suffer through. But in the end, what I did was try to get the, not really a circularization going, but raise my orbit and also change the inclination in such a way that we could get to Minmus a little bit better than it looked in the beginning. But that didn't work out as well as I hoped. Because while that game... Did you see the flickering of the encounter indicators? While the game showed me an indicator for an encounter, that encounter was a month in the future or something, and I kind of didn't see that correctly. Look at that flickering, it's really annoying. Anywho, I really hope this is something that KSP2 does better. I really hope so, because maneuver planning is one of the worst experiences for me in this game, hands down. But then we had it, and I said, yeah, let's just forward it, and yeah.
Again.
If you looked closely, you could see that I ended up in the atmosphere again, and then I would have to do the orbital again. So what I instead did was fast forward a bit the time, and then launch, because I forwarded Minmus a little bit along its orbits, and I hoped that this was enough to get closer to it this time. So here, once again, sped up the footage to make it more tolerable for you, and we actually got pretty easier than I anticipated, to be honest. We got our first, our encounter, because we don't need a second one, and then just some finagling with the orbit so I get closer to it. So this is what I planned to do, and get the fairing out of the way, and then we executed the maneuver, and this is where I ended up. Bit different, no? But at least we got a little bit closer, and I decided, yeah, let's just go to the encounter point. And at the encounter point, whenever I would time warp, the encounter would disappear, then it would reappear, and then it would disappear, and then it would reappear. Also something I hope that Kerbal Space Program 2 will do better. And there we are, we finally are in the vicinity of Minmus, actually close vicinity, because we can get a circularization going. I want to land on that big plane down there, that you can see the dark green stuff. Or one of them, actually. And that's why we're going to do a circularization, and then we're going to try to just reduce our velocity. I know it can be done faster, like direct ascent and just have bazillions of fuel tanks, but as I said, I didn't plan this, I didn't test this. This was just me going into the VIB, slapping stuff together off the top of my head and trying to make it work. And so far, at least we got to Minmus. Now that we're at Minmus, let's get our orbit... Well, actually, let's get it decreased, or let's get it destroyed, let's get it removed. I don't know, how do you say correctly in official spacefaring terms? However, we reduce our velocity, and then we can drop down onto that big, juicy, icy plane. Okay, well, I think in KSP2 lore, Minmus is made of glass and not of ice, because it's too close to the sun to have ice. I remember something in one of the feature episodes. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is to get this oriented prograde, meaning that I point it down, and then I just fire the one remaining vector engine down the back to get our landing speed a lot faster than it is at the moment. Problem is, once I did that, and I switched to the lander can, things spiraled out of control, literally, and I struggled to regain control. First, I just tried to use the thrust vectoring to get it there, but then I forgot on which control I am, whether I was on the probe core or on the lander can. And then when I finally got back down, it still wasn't able to stick to the retrograde marker. Something was off, and I'm not really sure what, to be honest. I haven't tested this since, and yeah, as I said, things are spiraling out of control fast, but we're still approaching the surface, and we wanted to land, and we can still use the... Well, is it a cheat if you activate time warp to arrest a spinning maneuver? Anyhow, we finally got some speed going on, and then I forgot to switch off the engine to separate that, and...
Again.
Of course we have to try again. Luckily, I made a quick save while in orbit. So I already failed the challenge, because land on Minmus without crashing, well, we failed in that regard. But the challenge did not say how many times we are allowed to try. As to the wobbliness of my descent stage, or my insertion stage, my ramming stage, sort of, I tried to limit the gimbal to not make it that crazy, but this... Well, it was not a big success, let's put it that way. But at least we a little bit were able to increase our velocity. What I'm doing here is I tried to get the retrograde marker really to the center, but then I said, oh, well, let's forget that. And since I have over 1,000 meters per second of delta V left in this stage alone, I can just speed to the surface and then switch it around. Yeah, why didn't I think of that before? I don't know. I said I didn't plan it, so here you go. You see every bad decision I made in this mission front and center, without any regard for my reputation. Do I have one? Tell me in the comments what kind of reputation for playing KSP I have. I'm really interested in that. Alrighty then. So we're now at a very slow pace landing because Minmus has a very low gravity and it's easy to land on. It's a bit farther away than the moon and it's in an inclination, so it's harder to get there. But once you're there, it's a lot easier to land on. Also, you have these planes, which are really nice to put something down. And here we go. After 10 days and 75 minutes, our brave Kerbal is able to get out and do what Kerbals do when they are on the surface of another planet or moon: plant a flag. And yeah, it took me 10 days and almost an hour in game and a little bit more than half an hour judging by the time of my recorded videos. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.